Hey, welcome. I am musically malnourished, and you're on my journey to go deep and wide in discovering new music and artists. We are in the 2009 self-titled album for 21 Pilots. This is track number 10, Trapdoor. It's been a few days since I've been able to get back into this album, so I am so excited. I don't know what this is. It's little house of excitement. I am so excited to get back into this. Like we do each time, we're going to take a look at the genius.com about to set context for this track, and then we'll listen to it. I'll stop it here and there when things really stand out to me, and then anything we feel like we miss, we'll go back and look through the lyrics in detail. This is what genius.com says. Trapdoor illustrates the loneliness of a protagonist as he fights an intense depression which slowly eats away at his sanity. The trapdoor the song is named after refers to that found on the gallows where people were executed by hanging. It is a hyperbolic metaphor used to illustrate how dire the situation is. As he is metaphorically dying, he continues to pretend he's okay. I'm going to flip it over so you can see. I'm sure you know what gallows are, but just in case you're like, I need a refresher, this is a picture that is included in genius.com, the trapdoor being the bottom, a way of escape. So let's hop on over and listen to Trapdoor together.
He wakes up early today, throws on a mask that will alter his face. Nobody knows his real name, but now he just uses what he stole on a grave. He pretends he's okay, but you should see. Show. Watch as this man disappears as we know. Do me a favor and try to ignore as you watch him fall through a bladed trapdoor. He thinks that faith might be dead. Nothing kills a man faster than his own head. He used to see dreams at night, but now he's just watching the backs of his eyes.
Wow. There's a few points in which I wanted to pause and talk on some things. But man, I was trying to be in it and listen. I was curious if he really was referencing gallows there for a moment, only because a trap door can also be something, that is a trap. Because the point of a trap door in gallows is that you have the noose around your neck. And so when they pull, the door drops and you fall through, which is what causes, obviously, the execution. Now, in movies, when the rope is cut and then it's hit, they can fall through, obviously, and be saved. But in my mind, a trap door is also, I don't know, maybe the best way to put it is like in a king's court, or even better, Jabba the Hutt in Star Wars Return of the Jedi. Is it? Yeah. Anyways, the idea is that somebody can hit the lever. You don't really realize you're standing on a trap door that is a place that leads to somewhere dangerous or to death. And so, anyways, I was curious if they really were referencing gallows with the trap door, but there is part of it that does say, "Take me out, finish this waste of a life. Everyone gather around for a show." So I could see that because obviously when the gallows existed, that was part of it, right? Everybody gathered around. And partly that was to, I think, instill in people, like the same way we take somebody to court and give them a sentence, it does help people see, like, here are the repercussions of your actions type thing. So anyways, people gathering around, they would do that at the gallows. So watch as this man disappears as we know. Do me a favor and try to ignore as you watch him fall through a blatant trap door. So we'll see. We'll go to genius.com. We'll look at the annotations and dive in a little bit deeper. But that does challenge me that at first I'm like, I don't know if they're talking about gallows, but gathering around for a show, things like that, very much could. So like I said, we'll go take a look at it. But I really loved that line too. He used to see dreams at night. Well, nothing kills a man faster than his own head. That's a powerful thought. I mean, what goes on in your mind is you. You know, I'm not saying in the sense that obviously sometimes you have struggles and you battle with the things, but what we decide, the decisions we make here, like everything within the world, we receive input from our eyes and our ears and whatever senses you may have, to perceive things, to receive things, and it hits your mind and your mind begins to parse and decide and decipher. And then what I believe is really what we take from our mind and we let get into our heart, that inner being of us. Those are the truths we end up living by. And if in our minds we struggle to know what's true, what's false, what's the lies, and you believe things about yourself that are not true, then you receive those things in your heart that ultimately your brain and those things, it can kill a person even while they're living. And unfortunately, it is that death that takes place in their mind that sometimes leads them, toward actions of taking their own lives, things like that, or just living out in destructive ways. But then it also said he used to see dreams at night, but now he's just watching the back of his eyes. That is such a vivid illustration of somebody that's sleepless, or even if you imagine they're still awake, to where a person who's optimistic and hopeful can dream, can sit. I mean, I do that a lot. I sit and I think about, even let's just take this channel, for example. I'm like, ooh, what could I do here? Or how could I make this better? Or how could I deliver this content? Or when could we do, and I begin to dream and to think and to have hope for the future. But if you're a person who doesn't have, gosh, it makes me emotional thinking about it because it's just sad. But if you're a person who can't do that, then you're so just blinded. And I've been in those places plenty of times in life where the pressure of what's going on and right in front of you it's hard to see past that. And so you don't lie asleep at night. Number one, let's talk about just dreaming, period, having a restful, peaceful sleep. So maybe it is an insomnia type thing as part of it. But I think the deeper part of it is even laying there. I mean, all you can do is stare at the back of your eyes. You can't sleep, but you also can't really have any hope or dreaming of the future. I think both are true in that. All right, sorry. Let's get back to it.
Watch as this man disappears as we know. Do me a favor and try to ignore as you watch him fall through a bleeding trapdoor.
Come on. Don't worry, there's nothing wrong with your video. I'm just in shock. Did I see a live performance? Because I've been trying to keep track of things to go back and watch later on Patreon. Did I see a performance of Aircatcher and Trapdoor together? And I think I just had an epiphany about the Trapdoor. Maybe. Sorry, let me look. Because if he does that live, my goodness, I'm watching it. Not right this second. Trapdoor. Because obviously part of that could be an effect, right? It goes on for so long that if he does that live, okay, so there is a Trapdoor. Ooh, this is only from a year ago. That'd be fun to see. I'll look at some older ones too, I think. Oh, there's so many. Oh, he has one from Battle at the Bands in 2009. That was the one in Ohio. I just put up a video. Oh my gosh, there's so many. I just put up a video of one of the only times I think that he does Friend Please, because somebody said it was just too emotional for him. I don't know if that's true or not, but as far as live performances, Friend Please, I could only find this old 2009 video at a Battle of the Bands before they released this album. They only had a demo with 4 songs on it, and they did Friend Please live, and they also have a live of Trapdoor at that same one. So I will probably go watch both of those, the Trapdoor from 2009 and then this one that was in May of 2024. That will be a lot of fun. So that's happening. Hold on, let me save these. Oh, that's so awesome. Okay, sorry, let's get back to it. I want to see that live and see if he does that full Oh, wow. I got to back up a little bit. That was so good. We're going to let it lead in.
Watch as this man disappears as we know. Do me a favor.
Oh, here's what I was thinking about the Trapdoor thing. Watch as this man disappears as we know. Part of me is wondering, and we'll see, and you can help me in the comments. It almost makes me think of like he's still existing as a person. Like you could still see him. And it could go either one of two ways. One is you see him as he is, this front that he puts on, and you don't realize that he's fallen through the trapdoor. And so he has this front that's on, but inside he's fallen away. Or the other side is that you think that he's dying, but then there's a reality he does have a trapdoor and he's escaped. It could go one of those two ways. I think the former that I mentioned is probably there, but we'll see. Okay. We're getting back into that part I was talking about.
And try to ignore as you watch him fall through a bleeding trapdoor.
Oh, killing it on the bass. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, sorry. I'm going to let it play. I'm just...
as this mound disappears as we know. Do me a favor and try to ignore when you watch him fall through a bleeding trapdoor. 'Cause nobody knows he's alive.
Wow. Musically, that's probably my favorite on the album so far. There was so much going on in that song, but it didn't feel cluttered. It flowed so well. Oh, man. Okay. Heading over to Genius, and it's interesting because he gives that last line, because nobody knows he's alive. All right. Let's look together for a moment. He wakes up early today, throws on a mask that will alter his face. Nobody knows his real name, but now he just uses one he saw on a grave. That all seems pretty straightforward to me. You wake up, you put on this mask, you act like somebody else. He pretends he's okay, but you should see him in bed late at night. He's petrified. Just this idea of being in a fear, immobilized, the shell of a person. So, take me out and finish this waste of life. We'll stay over on this view. He feels he doesn't have anything good to offer the world and therefore doesn't deserve to go on living, okay? Notice the way this is worded. It seems as if he's comparing himself to an animal injured beyond recovery. Okay, yeah, because it's kind of like you take them out. Is that what you take them out to pasture? You know, we took your dog to the farm. No longer able to perform the function he was bred for, like a racehorse. Pretty clear he's asking someone or something to take him out of his misery. It's also worth mentioning that this is the only line in the song that breaks out of a third-person narration and moves into the first. As studies have shown, dissociative disorder and depression go hand in hand. I'd be curious if he was trying to write it that deep or if it just is what felt right to him. Because sometimes, yes, and I'm not saying he doesn't do those things with intentionality, but sometimes, you know, when you're creating art, whether it's I've written a decent amount of poetry and things, you kind of just write what feels right. So he could have done either. Everyone gather around. Okay, so everyone gather. When someone was ordered to be executed by hanging, they used what was called the gallows. This structure was much like a scaffold and almost always made use of a trapdoor. The executioner would push a release mechanism that would cause the prisoner with a noose around their neck to fall through the trapdoor and die. Okay. This lyric is not meant to be taken literally, however. The protagonist metaphorically dies, shutting down completely due to severe depression. Tyler wants us all to be self-aware, just as people used to gather around for a show during public executions. The narrator calls for the listeners to pay close attention to these situations. If one shows signs of depression, the best thing is to get help before it's too late. The trapdoor is blatant as everyone can see that the person is suffering and is about to fall through the metaphorical trapdoor, but they make little effort to stop that. Okay. So it's not falling through the trap door as a way of escape. It literally is meaning like that is the thing that leads to their demise. It could also be compared to a magic show or circus event of some kind. See, but now we're getting on two different meanings here. Magicians often use trap doors to make themselves disappear. However, here the trapdoor is clearly visible. This could perhaps represent the protagonist's poor attempts to hide their downward spiral. Let's see what others say. All right, let's see what this person has to say. You know how the chorus says, as you watch him fall through a blatant trap door, right? But the last one at the last chorus, it feels crystal clear to me that it says, as you watch him fall through a bleeding trap door. That's what I did here. The lyrics don't say that, but he definitely says bleeding trap door in the end. Even when it still says blatant, of course. But with this auditive variation, it looks as if the character at first was falling through a blatant trapdoor, but because his depression got even deeper and deeper, it's like he ended up finishing his life. Now the trapdoor is bleeding because he falls straight to a trap, even though it was obvious it was there. I don't know, man. I don't know. Gather around for a show. Watch as this man disappears as we know. Everybody's gathered. The person is there. The thing is pulled. They fall through the trapdoor. Do me a favor, try to ignore as you watch him fall through a blatant trapdoor. And the end says, because nobody knows he's alive. So it does kind of sound like you're watching this person but you're kind of passive to what's going on. So we gather around, we watch this person fall through the trap door to their death, but nobody really even knows they're alive. All right. Well, hey, share with me in the comments your thoughts on this song, or if you have any further insight. Love having a conversation with you guys. Thank you for joining me for this one. I was stunned. Also, they brought in the screaming. Amazing. I can't wait to look further into this on those live performances. And I hope to see you in the next one, because we're eating good.